of the round of 16 weekend. And oh boy, what a match do we have in store for you guys today. It is going to be Eerie Idiots in Space versus the Chen Enjoyers. Both teams looking to fight for their tournament lives to see who will be making it to next weekend. As always, my name is Sparky, and I am joined in the commentary booth by none other than Epic Man 2. How you doing, man?
Yo, hi. Doing really well. My voice has been healing from the troubles it's had during the past week or so, and it's been feeling a lot better. So I'm excited to get back into the swing of things. You know, as a brief recap for these both teams, Eerie Idiots in Space had suffered in the round of 32 for the side of Eerie Idiots. They had full against Bucket 12-17 God Scream and basically snagged 3 points off of them in the round of 32, unfortunately losing 5-3, whereas the Chen Enjoyers didn't end up playing their match during the round of 32. So this time is going to be a bit different. We're going to be seeing these two teams face off against each other as one of the final matches of the round of 16 weekend.
Yeah, it'll be very excited to see which of these two teams manages to make from this match. A lot of real heavy hitters on both of these lineups, and one of these teams will be exiting the tournament here. I imagine both of them have the potential to make it very far if they do make it past this, but for the other team, it'll be very much a question of what if they had managed to make it past this round, see how well they would have scaled into the late game. But right now we are waiting for the rolls coming through. 78 for Dark Mewtwo Z2A with the 83.
I think we got our winner here, and it's going to be none other than the Chen Enjoyers from the looks of it. So Chen Enjoyers is going to be looking to protect something to start this match off as they really just start to make some small decisions on what options do they want to take away from the likes of Eerie Idiots here. So I have a feeling they might opt in for banning maybe one of the LN maps, maybe not LN4, considering that this is the harder LN map, unless they can play it bare and on the contrary to Eerie Idiots. But even that might be a bit of a tall task to really sort of bet on here, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always interesting going into these types of matchups where you might not be able to feel out too much in terms of what your opponent's preferences are going to be. This will be our first real insight as to the real headspace both these teams are going to be going into. I imagine, kind of piggybacking off of your point of the LN bans, maybe a Rice Protect going to be on the cards here. It's just a matter of what style. And it's gonna be Rice 3 at the end of the day here. Okay, so not the most surprising. I feel like the Chen Enjoyers have a roster that kind of enjoys sharpshooting accuracy at this level for the Rice maps, and Eerie Idiots in Space gonna be able to protect Rice 1 as well. So wanting to keep these on the cards, and we might see a bit of a handshake here go on where they get rid of some of these LN charts. I imagine something like LN Density, Not Long for This World, and the harder of the 4 LN maps being removed as well, LN4, unsurprising to your analysis a little bit earlier.
Yeah. That's basically what I've been talking about. I was expecting Chen Enjoyers more to maybe bang on using the LN to maybe pierce a shield that just to really exploit some sort of fault in the code for Eerie Idiots that they have in their program. But it seems like it's not going to be the case, considering that they protect as the teams both protect a Rice map. So it's really, I nearly knocked my microphone over again. It's really just
it's really exciting.
Nah, I was just oh no. Anyways, it's really just a matter of what these teams really want to do. It's gonna be probably a Rice bias match, knowing that these two teams are really well versed when it comes to Rice. It's their main category, that they're it's their strongest talent that they'd like to present in a talent show, to say.
For sure. And right now just waiting on the final ban to come through here. I wouldn't be surprised we saw like LN2 being removed here from the pool. It's always just a case of like, do we get rid of coordination? Do we get rid of density in conversations? I imagine coordination might be the better target for either of these teams, but honestly, I think any of these three are on the chopping block, and we're probably gonna see just all 6 of these rice maps get chosen, and they'll kind of just settle it on the hybrids, and we'll have to see how things evolve from here. I feel like whoever ducks down into that LN hybrid pool first might be the team that might feel the need to shake things up, and we might see some openings for some breakpoints going either way, but we'll see how things go. And right now, I love when players actually look at the map pool or remember which ones are which. Asking what the speed pick is. I mean, you're probably just gonna pick all the rice maps anyways. Why even worry about it? But we still need a ban. We need that ban to come through here.
Yeah, it seems like Eerie Idiot's taking some sweet time to ban something, but they're gonna be banning Rice 2. Wait, no, that's Chen and YuEast banning Rice 2, actually. Yeah, that's actually surprising.
All right. I mean,
oh god.
Usually like Rice 1, Rice 2 are reserved for like jump stream speed picks. So it's like if one got protected, ban the other, okay, cool. Whatever type of situation. And we can officially get into this first pick. It is going to be the Chen and YuEast picking first here. And I mean, given how that ban sequence went, I imagine they might just want to go for the protect first, just go for something that they might have actually played or looked over or have comfortable scores on, just to get this match off to the right foot. Especially on an elimination match, you only have 5 points to work with in this best of 9 format, so don't really have that much room to kind of explore anywhere else.
Absolutely, and knowing that both these teams are like really like well versed when it comes to the rice department, it is probably going to be like a relatively dangerous like sort of situation if we were to account for the fact that there is a potential that like both these teams are probably gonna like exhaust these rice maps a lot, knowing that they're basically on equal footing when it comes to them. So if they were to really like just use like the options that they are the most safe on, then going into the likes of LN is gonna be pretty detrimental to like both these teams if things don't go well. Maybe some of these hybrid maps could be like okay, but that's like a 50-50 as well. Like it's like a coin flip that just can like make people falter, and that is something that they wouldn't really want. But as we can see, Chen and YuEast gonna be like taking some time to pick their. I have a feeling that they might like go for a rice map just to like start things on a safe note, I think, at least.
Right now, just seeing the I mean, I would hope you would have the first pick at the very least, understanding what the like just go anyways. All right, it's gonna be LN1. Interesting first choice. I mean, okay, all right. This will give us some good insight as to which of these two teams feels more comfortable on these LN charts. I feel like with the double rice protect, it feels like this is more of a let's see if we're better and if that opens up an avenue, or if this is basically okay, we can't do these maps against these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And knowing that like knowing that Eerie Idiots does have a bit of an LN like sort of formula, they usually is basically like Eerie and Dark Mewtwo, who are like still very, very capable of when it comes to LN on the side, whereas like on the side of Chen and YuEast, I have a feeling that they're probably gonna pick out Mystic and Mari for this map if my assumptions were correct, considering that they have both played like various LN maps in the map pools already, like both in qualifiers and the group stage. Even with like some pretty big like discrepancy between the two players' scores. But from the looks of it, it seems like Chen and YuEast is like sort of a bit slow with like their decision making. Like I feel like they don't have a second player yet, and if anything, it would have to be either Mari or Mystic that would have to be like sent into this match, considering that both these teams only have like 3 players, like contrary to popular belief, considering that most of the players in this tournament have like 4 players, and then suddenly you just realize that these two teams just only have 3.
Yeah, you don't have that much extra room to work with. But I mean, to be fair, in order for a match to happen, we got to have at least 2. Right now I see Z2A. I believe Mari's in the lobby. I imagine they'll need to pop up a spot to be on screen. We want to be able to see their performance, lest we begin to curse them inadvertently. Of course, we never take responsibility for players missing, and we'll see. They are getting on. We've match started 12 minutes ago, guys. Like, I mean, come on. Should have been on already. But anyways.
Yeah.
It's funny that we were going into a 3-minute map and we're still waiting. This is definitely one of the harder ones to riff on. Normally we have something like a warm-up to kind of start talking over, but the fact that we didn't have the warm-up.
Oh my god.
They're taking their time out.
They're
okay,
timing
cool.
out. Alright. More time to speak then. Yay!
Alrighty, so extra 2 minutes for the Chen enjoyers to be ready for the first map of this match.
Yeah.
Definitely something. It is Sunday. It is maybe morning 4. Actually, it'd be what, like 11:13 if you're West Coast here, like 2:15 if you're East Coast. Like, it's like middle of the day. Like, there's really no reason to not be here right now, unless you're still asleep. But I mean, we can talk about the seeding. Yeah, I mean, 54 versus 28. The LN scores
27.
leave something to be desired in terms of overall performance, but to be fair, I mean, these maps are maybe a little bit easier than the qualifiers. So maybe something there that we might not know. They might be really comfortable swinging something on this. I always like to say something like that whenever the pools get easier. But alright, so Z2A comes back up. I believe Mari's gonna round out the roster here.
Oh yeah, I see Mari in the lobby. Yeah, it has to be Mari if not Mystic.
Yeah, and then gotta get everybody in the right slot.
All right, finally,
there we go. Cool. All right.
Well done.
I like how we both went for the clap. I feel like we're both in that same headspace of like, okay, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes like when you like just wait for something like with some anticipation such as that, then it just like makes it like all the more like entertaining or like enthusiastic in a way. Like that's just how I see it. Like usually whenever I do something, even if it's like just not important, I usually like just anticipate like random people like just doing a random ass like cartwheel like in my college, but no one else does it except me. So I don't know. But despite that, Ellen 1 underway It's some very Irish sounding song. I hear the bagpipes like rolling. Oh my god.
It is definitely something, but
Yeah.
as we get this underway, we wait for everything to kind of get settled in here. Already see a bit of a discrepancy making its appearance. I imagine Z2A not usually the one to be in on the LN charts, and we can start to see it here. The first slider break coming through from their side, already down about a full % in terms of accuracy as well, in comparison to Eerie and Dark Mewtwo on the other side. Gonna help bolster their lead to about 18,000 points. As we continue on here, a lot of weird release patterns coming through on what is a pretty calm sounding section as Z2A finds yet another drop. Everybody also holding on to the FCs here, and as it stands, 30,000 points in favor of Eerie Idiots in Space, who are looking really comfortable. As I say that, Eerie picking up the first couple drop, and both players from Eerie Idiots in Space not resistant to the compliments, as they both find the combo reset, but still able to hold on to a pretty hefty lead on their side, only losing about 3,000 points as a team as they start to build up on it once again here.
Yeah, absolutely. And even with those jumps from Eerie and Dark Mewtwo, that's not going to mean anything, considering Z2A had already basically rounded out the misses and the losses on the side of Chen and YuEast for this one. It's only Mari holding the FC, but even Mari, bro, taking that miss as well. That basically leads to all the FCs in this map being taken off the board. Now everyone having reset their combo during this map. We're already past the halfway mark, and there's still a lot of this map to go. A lot of really finicky staggered releases, along with some of these LN graces as well. Some of these, and also some robber tight jacks as well, that you have to just sort of coordinate in a very specific manner. But despite that, Eerie and Dark Mewtwo still hanging on, despite and just simply feeding off of the mistakes that Z2A and Mari are just making on these releases in general.
Yeah, overall, just a different level of comfort for both Eerie and Dark Mewtwo. Yes, both of them finding their breaks halfway through, but able to recover very nicely still. Both of them above that 99% mark on what is a 3-minute pseudo marathon of an LN chart. I imagine the mental stamina is really what gets tested on a map like this, where you have all these really slow patterns that make you have to really think about where your hands are at any given moment, and just able to keep the runs as a team cleaner than the Chen enjoyers. As the map comes to an end here, it's without a doubt 104,000 points, insurmountable at this point, and the first break point going to go the way of Eerie Idiots in Space as they make it 1-0.
Yeah, Eerie Idiots going to be starting the match off and setting the precedent that even they are that they've basically won off of this map through consistency alone, and that really propelled them to be able to win this first point, to be able to just really make a start with this match, and especially winning on Chen Enjoyers' first pick. It's basically their opportunity now to try and pick something that is in their advantage. I would not be surprised if they went for a Rice map, but even that would probably be a bit of a bloodshed, considering that both of these teams are basically Rice mains. So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the first pick for Eerie Idiots in Space is going to be. I think just knowing that they had that much of a commanding victory on LN1 might lead them to venture into the LN hybrids of their own volition here, but given the tendencies that I've seen from matches so far, usually it's a case of just pick the shortest map and we'll get in, get out as soon as humanly possible. So I wouldn't be surprised if the pick strategy was just, all right, what's under 2 minutes? What can we basically get over with quickly? And it's gonna be Rice 5.
Yeah, so it's gonna be none other than Made in China being thrown now. Quite an ironic song name, but But yeah, this is going to be one of the technical maps in this map pool. So this one maybe being a bit more straightforward and on the contrary to Rise 4 and Rise 6. This is like one of those like songs where it's just basically a lot more like electronica oriented. It's like maybe a bit more dubsteppy than like these other songs and stuff, and or at least like when it comes to these like technical maps in the Rice pool. So definitely a bit of a sensible pick to like make, and I could definitely see like why they would have opted in to choose it. It's just a matter of like whether the Chen enjoyers is going to be capable of playing it as well, knowing that they're also like Rice mains. I have a feeling that is most likely going to be Z2A and Mari playing on the side of Chen enjoyers, and surprisingly we see at Genius 569 switching out for Dark Mewtwo as well.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more consistent on this chart. Always nice to see all the players on a team getting a chance to kind of play in these matches. And this might give us a bit of insight as to how the Chen enjoyers stack up on one of these Rice charts. If they can maybe squeeze out this breakpoint, take it right back, it'll ensure that maybe we see the script flipped a little bit in terms of what these two teams might have wanted to go for in the first place, where Eerie Idiots go for like the Ellen hybrids to basically pivot 180, and Chen enjoyers will probably want to stay with those Rice charts. But as things stand, we'll have to see how both teams fare. An opportunity for Chen enjoyers to get that breakpoint back, an early opportunity for Eerie Idiots in space to kind of double up here off that breakpoint.
Indeed, very well said there. And as we basically bring the second map of this match underway, you're going to be seeing Eerie and Genius facing off against Z2A and Mari. I think this is the first time I'm seeing a Genius play in this tournament, like in general, because like I remember I saw this team, like I remember I saw Eerie Idiots play in the round of 32, but I haven't seen a Genius like play anything until like now. So but from the looks of it, they must be feeling confident when it comes to these Rice maps in general, seeing like this relatively tight burst that seems to phase no one. It's only really just a pretty like minor actually drop on the side onto Mari's side, but seems like so far Areas has the actually advantage so far, just having about just nearly 1,000 points to really breathe with. But that is not going to be enough. But Z2A taking that first miss, it's actually going to bring the lead like more into the side of Eerie Idiots, allowing them to just solidify the lead for the time being, getting past the first quarter and almost past the first half here.
Yeah, absolutely. That first drop being the first domino to fall for the side of the Chen enjoyers. I mean, Z2A being the higher accuracy of the two players, being able to hold off Eerie from kind of like really spiraling out of control. And now a couple of drops coming out from Z2A, not answered back by either side, by either players from Eerie Idiots in space. As I mean, these bursts starting to take Z2A for a bit of a ride here. They were looking really consistent to start things off, but starting to taper off a little bit to the detriment of their overall team score. And I mean, Eerie Idiots in space are just going to take that and run with it to a tune of about a 50,000 point lead coming out of that key eye section into the last quarter of the map.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a pretty devastating drop from Z2A there. Basically, just chain missing on that course. Probably not comfortable when it comes to these rather abrasive patterns. And you can especially see here that there is some really sort of clunky rhythms in this song for a dubstep song. And Z2A basically still falling victim to it. It's not phasing anyone else. Eerie basically just simply capitalizing off of it with a 99.90% accuracy lead, with a Genius following just behind by a feather.
Yeah, very good team score overall from Eerie Idiots in space. The 996 Black Flag performance on their side.
Ooh.
Mari tried their best to try and keep things close here, but unfortunately just not going to be enough to not be enough to contest on that pick. And now Chen Enjoyers up to pick once again. I mean, sure, the scoreline might be not what they were hoping for on that, but I feel like that first half kind of went about as well as it could have, where it was within like what, 0.1% as a team score. And if they can just find a more consistent rice chart to do that on, avoid the drops, keep the runs clean, then they might be able to take some of these rice picks away from Eerie Idiots in space. So potential avenues for them, but I wouldn't want to see them do what they did last pick and go for an LN. I feel like that's like the least advisable thing for them to do right now.
Absolutely. And I think, like, in general, when it comes to these like more technical maps that are on the field, as we can see here, like, I have a feeling that, like, if Chen Enjoyers wants to really like dive headfirst into one of these rice tech maps, then they really need to like maybe pick something that is not as abrasive as Made in China on the contrary. Because like we've seen from Z2A's performance on that map, like even despite the devastating and unexpected 12 misses due to some of these like really tight patterns, they had only 160 perfects, which was like basically close to the score that Eerie got on that same map in terms of ratio, getting 111.
Yeah, absolutely. I sorry to cut you off there.
No, don't worry.
Where it's like they have the ratio. I don't think that was a matter of being uncomfortable with the chart. I just feel like kind of like how we saw last weekend with like Miyuka and their keyboard giving them issues with double taps.
Yeah.
It could be one of those situations. That's me casting a like wide net trying to explain what happened there, because you don't get 1 200, 1 100 and 12 misses because you're not comfortable. Usually you have like this like really wide spread of judgments if you're not comfortable with the chart, and the misses just kind of come with that. The 12 misses on a near V1SS performance tells me there might be something else at play there, but it looks like Chen Enjoyer is actually gonna go for LN2 here, and I feel like we have all 6 players available now. I see some hellos, and Mystic is now finally here, so maybe we'll see the full potential on these LN picks from the Chen Enjoyers. I think Z2 is kind of like the sacrificial lamb on the other LN pick to try to just ensure that they don't just get subjected to the mercy of random. Yeah, maybe Z2A like basically played the previous LN map to just buy some time for the likes of Mystic here, but yeah,
despite that, it seems like both the teams have their full lineups ready for the LN maps to go to the likes of Eerie and Dark Mewtwo. The Starwit Warriors on the side of Eerie Idiots to space, and we've got Mystic and Mario on the side of Chen Enjoyers. This is gonna be like, I have a feeling this might be relatively equal, so I'm kind of interested to see how this is gonna play out, in my opinion.
For sure. Maybe now we'll see. I don't want to say it hasn't been an even matchup, but maybe we'll see a full strength matchup from both sides. Like this is like the true glimpse of how this match is supposed to go. But I mean, with the Eerie Idiots in space having a 2-point cushion to work with, another opportunity for them to get a break point here if Chen Enjoyers don't play their cards right. We'll wait to see the playfield sync up here. We love Bancho. We love this spaghetti string client that we have to use here. And we get things underway. This being a more density-oriented LN pick will probably bode well. There's a lot of implied anchors on the outer columns, some really nasty bursts and one-hand trolls to read through consistently littered throughout the map. And right now, Eerie Idiots in space being able to eke out a bit of an advantage in terms of overall raw accuracy in comparison to the Chen Enjoyers here. A full percent for both players on either side as Mari finds the first drop here.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Eerie Idiots in Space, having found like a solid foundation to build with on this Ellen density map, having the upper hand by about nearly 20,000 points, just going off of the raw misjudgments from Mystic, and also that one devastating miss from Mari as well. That's basically like spelled danger on their side already, unless if we start seeing some drops on the side of Eerie Idiots in Space as well. Knowing that Eerie, it has like the lower actually so far on the contrary to Dark Mewtwo, who's basically reigning over with the highest accuracy in this lobby right now on this map, with these really jump stream oriented maps, with these really jump stream oriented patterns, as well as like these kinds of awkward coordination patterns as well. But Dark Mewtwo takes the first drop on the side of the Eerie Idiots, and Mari trades it back, so that's not going to mean anything for the time being.
Yeah, it was a very clean drop overall from Dark Mewtwo, only losing about 100%, able to keep that ratio relatively clean. I imagine it was just a slider break as Mystic falls from the Chen Enjoyers. Both FCs now gone for their team going into the last quarter of the map. Already 40,000 points in favor of Eerie Idiots in Space, as Eerie, the only FC left in the lobby, maybe not having the higher accuracy of the two players on their side, but doing more than enough to ensure that there are no potential comebacks from the Chen Enjoyers, who are still in that 98% range on these LN charts. Like I was saying before this map was picked, it's like I would not advise it given how good they were looking through the opening of Rice 5. I would have thought they would have taken their chances on another Rice pick, but as things stand, take what they're given. And right now Eerie Idiots in Space being given another breakpoint on a silver platter here. 50,000 points to the good going into this outro.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, there not being enough time for Chen Enjoyers to really show what they're capable of when it comes to these maps in general. It's going to be Eerie Idiots in Space securing their third point going into this match. Dark Mewtwo coming in with the 984k, and Eerie coming in with the 975k. Both scores stronger than both Mystics and Mari's, contesting them out like tremendously, and that is basically just going to lead them to getting their third point. Now they're going to be going for the immediate Hybrid 2 pick. So now with Eerie Idiots in Space basically almost at a match point situation, Chen Enjoyers is going to have to really play their cards like carefully. Like they're basically drawn like a few set of cards that they had to sort of use. And now Chen Enjoyers, now that they've lost like 3 games in a row, they're really going to have to like be careful with like the next move that they make, because this could definitely cost like way too much, especially in a loser's bracket situation like this.
Yeah, it's kind of last chance saloon here for the Chen Enjoyers. I mean, they still have the Protect in the back pocket. They can kind of throw that out as like a last resort, but so far being outclassed on the LNs that they've willingly gone into, and looking really good on the Rice picks, or the Rice pick so far. It'll be interesting to see how they stack up on the hybrid. Z2A coming in for Mari here, and I think we found our explanation. Wooting detected from Z2A. Tell me if you've heard that story.
Oh boy. Oh my god.
A wooting.
Yeah,
and
I think we know how the story goes.
Yeah. Rapid trigger, more like rapid drops. So hopefully
literally, bro.
Hopefully it doesn't plague them like it did Miyuka last weekend, and they can put up a clean performance. But with hybrids, it's really not your choice sometimes with those LNs. So
absolutely, and like
go.
Yeah, absolutely, and like with especially knowing that this map is like relatively technical for a hybrid map. This has like a lot of like shields and Jack Cassera that really make this like very technical. It's like relatively similar to the likes of Water Lily that we have seen in the group stage, and this is going to be like pretty dangerous for either of these players, depending on who does not really keep themselves intact, who does not like keep their stance, like their posture as well, really. Because like this can definitely go in like many directions depending on who ends up taking these fatal drops. And going into this intro section, you're exposed first with some of these like streams and some. But then you're introduced like into this course, and it introduces some more of these Jackson reverse shields. But it seems like so far it's going to be Chen and YuEast suffering more from the Eerie and Dark Mewtwo just like thriving and eating off of their roll mistakes, and Z2A taking the first drop that's just basically going to give Eerie Idiots in Space the upper hand as they ascend through this map already.
Yeah, the introduction, just all of those jack-oriented patterns, the fact that they're all really short LNs as well, forcing you to kind of pay extra attention to those release timings as well. And right now, the 2 FCs to the 2 non-FCs from the Chen Enjoyers, Mystic actually picking up a drop earlier in the proceedings before the players have made it to that 400 combo cap. So not going to do as much damage, actually holding on to the higher accuracy between themselves and Z2A. But the fact that both Eerie and Dark Mewtwo holding on to near 99.9% accuracies as a full combo reset coming through from the side of the Chen Enjoyers is going to exacerbate proceedings here and make it 56,000 points. As things stand, with a quarter map left to go, we might be reaching that territory of insurmountable advantages. 74,000 points and a number of misses coming through from the Chen Enjoyers. Probably wouldn't have gone into this map willingly, but I mean, the buff of enjoying the map coming through in full force from Eerie Idiots in Space. As I say, that Dark Mewtwo, the one who picked this because they enjoyed the song, finding the first drop for Eerie Idiots in Space, and still holding on to comparable accuracy to Eerie, despite holding on to the only FC in the lobby. And I mean, that level of consistency is really hard to beat, even on a good run. I mean, eliminate all the mistakes from Chen Enjoyers, probably still wouldn't have been enough. 992k, 988k. A great team score from Eerie Idiots in Space as they make it a match point situation.
Indeed, Chen Enjoyers basically in a very dire situation now. They have basically only very few options to really go through. They had basically the majority of the Rice pool to really use against Eerie Idiots, but like even with Rice 5 not going in their best favor, they really need to try and like pick a map that is really gonna work for them. And because like there's still a lot of maps left on the board, maybe try and avoid stuff like these Ellen and hybrid maps, considering that Eerie Idiots had basically just capitalized off of each one of them individually, no matter what the odds are. And Chen Enjoyers really just desperately needs a point right now if they want to be able to keep themselves in the equation for maybe just a little longer, because like this is like the potential final match for either of these players, depending on what the outcome is.
I feel like it's time to throw out Rice 3. Just go for that protect, go for consistency. No need to really make things harder than it should be. Yeah, it's one of those like, oh, they think.
Yeah.
Wait. Hold, pause.
We're waiting. Yeah, we're waiting. They're not picking Rice 3. No.
Okay. Maybe. Well, I mean, the spanner in the works that gets thrown here is the fact that Z2A's keyboard is double tapping relentlessly, and yes, they're gonna go for a Rice 3. Okay, whatever. No more speculation. They're just gonna go for it. I mean,
yeah.
Maybe they need to remember what the protect they threw out was, just to make sure. But regardless, this is probably going to be a genius coming back through for Eerie Idiots in Space.
Yeah, and understandably so. It seems like the Chen Enjoyer is going to be having their final. You're going to be picking out the protect right off the bat here. They've saved what is probably the best for a loss, I'd say. Like, that's something that a lot of teams tend to usually do when they're in a situation like this, where they're basically like just gonna have to be forced to like just force a tiebreaker if they can. But even then, this is gonna be really tough, considering that they've got 4 points to win if they want to be able to actually force that tiebreaker in question. So I wouldn't be surprised if Mari was to come back. It's either that we're gonna be seeing Mystic play for this core jack map, or we're gonna be seeing Mari sub in. But from the looks of it, they're still like speaking in the IRC chat, so I don't think there is going to be any like changes in the rosters here.
Yeah, this is probably what they were wanting to go for in terms of roster composition for the Chen Enjoyers. It is officially last chance saloon for them. They cannot afford to drop another point here, lest they be eliminated from this tournament. Eerie Idiots in Space looking to try and get that last break point to make it to quarterfinals. We shall see how things proceed from here. Nearly 3 minutes to decide. A little bit more of a cushion to work with if you do find yourself dropping, but with the way things have been playing out on these rice picks, very few and far between. At least normally, hardware might get in the way a little bit, but knock on wood, everything works the way it's supposed to for once.
Absolutely, and especially with like this map being like a really, really big consistency check in general. This is Core Jack at about 140 BPM. It basically just gets a bit denser the more you go for it. So getting introduced with like some of these like jump jacks, like going into like this first verse, and Z-Sway gonna be taking the first drop. That is not the best signal for the Chen Enjoyers, as this is gonna give Eerie Idiots space the upper hand for the time being by giving them a cushion of about 6,000 points and going strong.
Yeah, that lead's gonna grow. Z-Sway finding another drop. I mean, these are really clean drops on a Core Jack pick where everybody in the lobby is very comfortable with the BPM overall, the density not being too much of a problem so far as things stand. 99.9s for Eerie Idiots in Space, basically near untouchable. It's going to need to come down to drops from their side, as Mystic finding the next drop, not traded back once again. Going into the back half of the chart, nobody from Chen Enjoyers above that 400 combo cap except for Z2A, who just got there and just dropped it one more time. Gonna increase his lead to about 30,000 points. And with a third of the map left to go here, I mean, it is near immaculate performances from Eerie and a Genius so far as things stand. It's gonna need to come down to some drops here, and they need to happen fast.
Yeah, absolutely, and like with only one quarter of the map left to really just simply play out in this match alone, there's really no other option that Mystic and Z2A have if they want to be able to prevent that sweep from being completed without any problems. Because considering the fact that Eerie is in space, Eerie and Genius holding on to some insane accuracy so far. Eerie hanging on to that 99.97% and Genius hanging on to the 99.95%, basically righting the wrongs of last week and bringing the point lead to about 70,000 points ahead of Chen Enjoyers. That is basically the thing that they did not want, especially on their Protect. This is genuinely such a disrespectful way to end their tournament wrong.
No, those scores are disgusting. 999, 998?
Nah.
Go double digit.
What is that?
Okay. All right. And I mean, Z2A actually out ratioing a Genius, but the keyboard.
Wow.
The keyboard subtracting basically 50,000 points from their score. That's crazy. But I mean, that's one of those tip your cap. All right, you deserve to win it at that point. And that will do it. Eerie Idiots in Space 5-0 over the Chen Enjoyers. Will be moving on to the quarterfinals in the losers bracket. Very well
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, and a strong fight that Chen Enjoyers had put up as well, especially contesting on like some of these rice maps as well. It could have definitely like gone in various directions had they had like some more like strength and consistency and maybe some more physicality as well. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, efforts that were like processed are not going to be enough for the likes of the Eerie Idiots of Space, as they basically right their wrongs from last week against Bucket 12-17 called Scream, and basically making it to the quarterfinals weekend. Going to be facing off against none other than Benny Goodman, I believe, right?
Your guess is as good as mine. I don't have the bracket in front of me, but they will have a match next weekend. And now going into losers quarters, got to have that conditional. So a lot of permutations that can happen. And you're right, it is Benny G, as the bracket loves to cut off. But
Benny G.
Regardless, we'll be taking a bit of a break here, and we only have one match left. It'll be at the bottom of the next hour at 20:30 UTC, barring any shenanigans, and that will do it for the round of 16. All that will be left after that is the quarterfinals map will showcase. Got to show these players what they'll be going up against next weekend. So, I mean, man, you got anything else left to say?
And not really. All I'd like to say is that like this, even though this match like ended like maybe a bit anticlimactically, like I was expecting like maybe something that was a bit more like balanced in a way, something that wasn't like so one-sided as it looked. But despite that, I think everyone did really, really well on this match alone, regardless. So once again, there is only one match left of this round of 16 that I'm honestly interested to see happening later. Going to be none other than Mr. BX Winner Arc versus SpongeBob Water. Rather interesting team names, and it's happening at 12:30 UTC. So hope to see you all then.